Once again, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your patience with us today with the delay from practice. As usual, I'd just like to remind everybody to please keep their monitors muted and to place their request to ask a question on the chat panel, and we'll take it from there as we usually do. Who would like to kick us off? Thanks, Ken. You can go ahead.
Thanks, Sips. How's it, Rassie? Obviously, there's a lot of focus at the moment on T20 cricket with the World Cup just, what's it, 3 months away, 2 months away, in fact. It was 2 or 3 months away. But you're now playing ODI cricket. As a batsman, how much work can you do? How much benefit, put it this way, is playing ODI cricket going to be for your T20 game, if any?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. I'm unmuted. Okay. Yeah. I think 50-over cricket, white ball cricket, it's obviously time in the middle. You get with 50-over cricket, which sometimes in T20 cricket you don't always get, especially batting middle to lower order. You know, you sort of go in, you got maybe 10, 15 balls in a T20 match. Whereas in 50-over cricket, you've got time to bat. You've got sort of a bigger scope to identify where your game is at. You got time to get yourself in, and then obviously play your game from there. So in terms of that, it's for T20 cricket, it helps a lot to just give the batters sort of a reference for where their games are at the moment. So you know, we haven't played a lot of 50-over cricket in the recent past. So we had a decent showing against Pakistan. At times we were good, but you know, we see this as an opportunity to really nail down some plans in terms of our 50-over game plan.
Dennis, followed by Telford.
How's it, Rassie? I know you're not the selector, so probably not the best guy to ask, but I mean, you guys have been on tour for a while now, and there's a few Oaks that didn't get a chance in the T20 series, guys like Kyle and Janeman. Do you know if we can expect to see the same sort of team, or are there plans to give a few guys a break? What's the talk with regards to that?
Yeah, Tinus, I can't, you know, say too much with regards to that. I think with the new 50-over competition structure the ICC has, you know, every game becomes important. I mean, Owen Morgan the other day said there's no such thing as a dead rubber anymore in 50-over cricket, because every game or every win you get points for, and that sort of gets you qualification to the World Cup. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in terms of team selection. You know, it is tough. We've been away from home now for about 5 weeks, and some guys haven't had playing chance, and you know, it is tough for those guys. But I suppose at the end of the day, as a coach and a selector, the priority is to win matches, and you have to maybe pick your strongest team available. But again, in saying that, the guys that we do have on tour here, you know, if they do come in, you know, we still got confidence that they can get the desired result. But in terms of your question, I can't give you too much info on that. I'm not sure.
Telford, followed by Percival.
How's it, Rassie? I'm intrigued to know, you came from some challenging conditions in the Caribbean. You've had one training session. I'm hoping you managed to have a bat. What are the conditions? How do you expect the conditions to change in Ireland?
Yeah, I think in general that the training session we had today is not at the field that we're going to play at, so it's difficult to say. But in general, having played in Ireland and in the UK before, you know, it's very dependent on overhead conditions sometimes. When the sun is out here and the wicket can get quite hard, it becomes favorable for batting. But then in saying that, if there's a little bit of rain around in the preceding days and on the day, the ball swings and it does, the grass sort of livens up, and the sea movement becomes more of a factor, especially in 50-over cricket where there's 2 new balls. So it's difficult to say. I mean, in general, this time of year in Ireland, the weather should be okay. So I think the conditions will be good for batting, and especially a lot more batter conducive than we had in the West Indies on our previous tour.
Percival?
Thank you so much, Bukasi. Goedemiddag, Rassie. Rassie, kan ek kortliks vir jou vra? Ek is aangeraai om nie baie vrae te vra nie. Ek gaan een vraag vra. Net kortliks, hoe is die gees in die kamp op die oomblik? Jy was natuurlik deel van die toetsreeks reeds in die Wes-Indiese eilande gewees en toe in die T20 reeks. Hoe is die gees in die kamp op die oomblik en wat hoop julle om wyser te raak in hierdie reeks, die geskikkundige reeks teen Ierland?
Ja, ek dink die groep is vol selfvertroue. Ons het daartoe gegaan en die toetskondisies was moeilik om te kolf, maar ons het geweet ons bowlers sal dit moeilik maak vir hulle en die resultaat daarvan 2-0 was natuurlik vir ons as 'n toetsspan was baie belangrik. En toe in die T20s om teen ouens met so 'n span te speel met daai tipe spelers wat hulle het en toe 3-2 te wen. Dis goed vir 'n span se selfvertroue. Dit wys ons dat die planne wat ons het werk. En dat as ons speel volgens ons gameplans en die manier hoe ons wil speel, dat ons van die beste spanne in die wêreld kan klop. So die ouens is baie positief. En hierdie reeks natuurlik is net nog 'n geleentheid om 'n stapie nader te vat aan ons perfekte wedstryd of perfekte span, as ek dit so kan sê. Ons weer is 'n groot reeks en is daar geen meer wedstryde wat maklik is nie, veral nie weg van die huis af nie. So ons weet Ierland gaan kom met alles wat hulle het. So dis vir ons 'n geleentheid om 'n toer wat al reeds suksesvol is net nog meer suksesvol te maak.
Kanyiso, and then Ian, Ken, and we'll finish with Zahir.
Good afternoon, Rassie. South Africa doesn't always play what you'd call the associate teams, which Ireland, Ireland's a full member now, but South Africa don't often get to play against them in bilateral series. How would it be facing Ireland, for that matter?
Yeah, it's something that we're really excited about. You know, they're a team that has come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. Now I've played club cricket here about 5 or 6 years ago, and you know, seeing where they've come from then and to where they are now as a team, for us it's really exciting prospect. You know, like I mentioned now in the previous on Afrikaans, that these days you don't have any easy games anymore, especially not away from home. So we know this is a massive series for them, and they're going to absolutely throw everything they have at us. And for us, that's the challenge to you know, firstly in foreign conditions to adapt to that from a batting and a bowling side, and then find ways to win games. You know, we got 6 games here. Weather permitting, we're hoping to get all of them in, but you know, it's been a successful tour for us already, and we'll definitely be looking to make it even more of a success.
Thank you.
Ian?
Hi, Rassie. Ian Callender, Belfast Telegraph. Welcome back to Ireland. It was actually 6 and 7 years ago you were here, which I find hard to believe. Good memories of those 2 years. 2 big summers for you at that stage of your career, was it?
Yeah, I mean, I have very fond memories of playing in Belfast, the people in the club league there. I mean, at that stage I was still playing franchise cricket in South Africa, so it sort of gave me the opportunity to come here and experience different conditions and different people and make sure that I'm ready for my season back home. But yeah, I mentioned it just now, where cricket has come from the time that I've been here to now is really good to see. And you know, Ireland's a full member now, and for us to play here, we're really looking forward to the challenge. I think we have the last 2 games on Belfast at Stormont, where I've played some club cricket.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing some of the faces I know. And yeah, I'm excited to be back.
And you'll have played against some of the Ireland players, of course, before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we played some interprovincial cricket when I was last time. come up against some of their bowlers, and obviously they know the conditions really well, and that's going to be the challenge for us to sort of adapt against them again. But yeah, I've played against them. I know the skill that they got, and especially in these conditions, and you know, the fighting spirit a guy like McBride has, for example, and yeah, it's going to be a good series. I think it's two good teams that's coming up against each other.
Thank you.
Ken, and then we'll finish with you.
Sorry, Rassie, just you chatted about game plans and how you guys feel on track with that, given the success over the West Indies. I guess one of the sort of areas where there might still be question marks is over the finishing of innings. I'm not sure how you see your sort of role definition, but it does seem that you are quite often there at the end. Is presumably that's the sort of thing, though, that that can cross formats, ODI, T20. I mean, if you find yourselves in the same situation at the end now in the ODIs, you're doing a similar job to what you would do in the T20s, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one area in the West Indies that we weren't too happy with. The last 5 overs of an innings. I thought in general we were really good from overs 1 to 15, and we really applied our game plans there and executed them. But then in the last 5 overs in all the matches, really we came up a bit short. We tried some different tactics, some different ways to go about it, but the reality was that the conditions were really tough to bat, especially new batters coming in at that stage. We lost a few too many wickets in that stage, and for new batters to come in was really tough. But you know, we're not looking too much into that. We know that, you know, they got world-class death bowlers there, and combined with those conditions, it was always going to be tough. We saw how their batters also struggled as the ball got older and slower and softer. So it's not something we're too worried about. But yeah, the skills are definitely transferable in terms of 50 over cricket. In general, in 50 over cricket, you have a few more balls to get used to the conditions and sort of work out what will be a good score. So, you know, my role in the West Indies, I came in a bit later than I normally would. But I mean, as a player, you have to be adaptable and work on the skills that are necessary in different positions. And yeah, I know where I came up short in the West Indies and what I need to work on. So, you know, going into this series, it'll be important for whoever's in that situation to learn the lessons that we did and make sure we don't make the same mistakes again.
And finally, Zahir.
Hi, Rassie. You just touched on it now, but coming a bit later in the, you know, down in the order and getting and needing to, you know, upskill in that. But you South Africa's highest ranked T20 batter at the moment. Does it sometimes feel a bit frustrating to walk in when there's only 15 balls and not being able to influence the game a little bit more, coming in a little bit higher considering the way you've played previously?
Yeah, I wouldn't say frustrating. You know, the reality is that if you're going in at 4 and 5 and you're going in with 10, 15 balls to go, it means that the guys who 1 to 3 have done their job. And that's going to happen sometimes. Like, for example, in the last game where Quinny and Aiden got 60 and 70, you know, if 2 guys are there and they're doing their job for the team, especially through those periods that we needed to apply our game plans a bit better, then, you know, that's good for the team. I mean, then you can't go as a number 5 or 6 batter and say, yeah, but I only had so many balls to do. The reality is you have about 10 balls, and that's sometimes all you get to make an impact. You know, in 10 balls, you can still hit a few boundaries and make an impact, and that's probably where all of us coming in that last sort of 3 to 4 overs, you know, came up short in those conditions. But as a sort of middle order player, you know, sometimes there's going to be some early wickets, and that's where you got to grab the opportunity to bat some time and make sure for the team that you play that role that the opener or the number 3 would have done. But you know, in terms of that, we were brilliant in the power plays in West Indies, and especially in that last game, Quinny and Aiden played out of their skin. So, you know, you can't fault that as a middle order play. At the end of the day, as a batting unit, you're 6 or 7 guys and you need to get the runs. Whoever gets them, it doesn't really matter. And as a team, the 11 of the field, you need to get the win. So that's what we did. So I can't say too much more about that.
Thanks, Rassie. Good luck.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'll be sending the link to the audio and video of this press conference in about 10-15 minutes. Have a good afternoon further. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Rassie.